What if tomorrow you get a job and they don't want you to film?
On the humanitarian vessel, I was not allowed to do anything. Not even like a post on Instagram.
About the work or about the vessel?
Anything. Like, anything related to the vessel. Even if I just made a cute dish and wanted to post a photo of it, I couldn't. So that was also why I wanted to leave.
Welcome to the podcast. This is Chris, your host. Today we have Nina Wilson. So Nina is also known as the crew chef on Instagram and on YouTube. She has tons of followers. She's putting some awesome videos every now and then, because I was asking her how many videos she posts per month, but she said it depends on her workload and how often she can do it. But lots of followers, some very, very cool videos. And she's also launched a cooking class with my Muy Bueno to help people, get into a crew chef, sous chef position. Some recipes that she's prepared and she's shared with on the course. So anyway, we spent an hour with Nina. She's explaining to us where she comes from, what she's doing now, where she wants to one day, where she's hoping to work. And let's get into the episode. This is Nina Wilson. Nina, welcome on the show. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
So, for the few that don't know you, because you have a lot of people that follow your content online, can you give us a quick brief on who you are, where you're from, what are you up to these days?
Who I am, what I'm from, what I do. My name's Nina. I'm a yacht chef. I have been in the industry since 2013. And I started out as a deckhand, as a stew and a deckhand. And then when I moved into the galley, I started to Instagram things and kind of built a platform where other people who were cruise chefs, we had a nice little community. And from there, it kind of grew into a YouTube channel. And from now on, it's just been me on whatever boat I'm working on. If I'm allowed to film, I put it up on YouTube, and I have fun with it.
Awesome. Let's roll back to before yachting. What did you do before yachting then?
I kind of went straight into yachting. Before yachting, yeah. When I was 15, I was working on boats as a diver. Yeah, I was a dive photographer. So I was underwater taking photos of people out on the reef. I grew up on the east coast of Australia, so very tropical, lots of tourism, always out on the boats. So it was pretty natural for me to do into that. But my first job in the kitchen was, do you know what a Nando's is?
Yeah, it's a restaurant, right?
Yeah, it's like a cheap chicken restaurant. I used to work in a Nando's when I was 13 years old.
In Australia?
Yeah, in Australia.
Okay. So this was your first cooking job, I want to say.
Exactly, you're right. I learned how to spatchcock chicken, how to cut, bell peppers properly, how to marinate things, how to cook things properly. It was how to steal fryers out of the fryer with no one watching,
No, but that's awesome. That's because that was my next question. It's you haven't gone to culinary school, or have you? No, you haven't.
I only went to culinary school for a month. I did a month-long course just to get the sort of the basic qualifications, the food and hygiene, the level 2, what have you, because one of my chef friends recommended it, and from there it was mainly onto boats. Yeah.
That was before working on yachts, or you started on yachts and then someone say, hey, maybe you should get something else on your CV.
Yeah, I was on yachts, but I was on yachts as a deckhand.
Yeah.
From my diving background, I did that kind of thing, and then what happened was my husband and I, we were newly together, we're running a small catamaran. And we were like, well, both of us can't be the skipper. Someone has to cook. So I was like, well, I'll give this cooking thing a go. I worked at Nando's.
Yeah, I can make chicken.
And I was loving it so much. This cooking thing is great. I want to do more of it. So I spoke to my chef friends, and they basically said, if you want to be taken seriously, get some kind of qualification. So I went into that.
Yeah. But Nina, I have to say, I worked with a few chefs that did not go to culinary school. They didn't work in restaurants, but they were just so passionate about cooking that eventually you cook as well or better. than culinary trained chefs sometimes.
Sometimes, for sure. I think it really, it can go one of two ways. A lot of people, if you see a line cook, they're doing it because it's their job. They're not necessarily
Yeah.
passionate about it. But if you have someone who has actually actively gone into the industry themselves, then yeah, self-taught ain't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's not because there's the only motivation is your passion, and you you are basically willing to learn, and that's an advantage. So
Yeah.
how did you start in? You say you work in a small catamaran, but then what did you do next? Did you apply for a cruise chef position? How did it
Yeah,
happen?
yeah. Sort of going into that entry level position on yachts, I definitely wasn't ready to be a sole chef by any means. I wanted to work under someone. And I think that's another thing that a lot of self taught people will do is will recognize the importance of working under a head chef and working under a few different head chefs. So you're learning all the different tricks and things from them. My partner, Chris, we were looking for a job at the same time. So that made it even harder to get a job together. We were really lucky. A 70-meter needed a second officer and a crew chef or a second chef. And we got the job together. We couldn't believe our luck.
Yeah, it's harder. It's much harder as a couple. I understand why you want to do that, but I mean, look, I'm not a captain, but if you have to hire two people, yeah, it could be really good, but it could also be tricky. You don't
Yeah.
know how both of them are, and what if you like only one of them?
And also, if one leaves, is the other one going to follow as well?
Uh
Is
huh.
it going to be drama? So I think it depends on the couple. I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Nina, now you are head chef.
I am.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
I've
incredible. How many years have you been cooking now?
20, oh my gosh. 2019, I think I did my course.
I thought you were gonna say 20 years. I was like, what?
No, no. Is that right? You
That
know what?
is
It's
a
all
fast career.
Yeah, it was. It was. I did have. I was really lucky. Actually, no. I need to stop saying that. I worked hard.
Yeah.
I did the cruise chef thing for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and then felt ready to take a sole chef job. And I loved working for these owners. It was two sets of owners. One set was vegan, so
Yeah.
I had that challenge. One set was like American fine dining, so that was really fun. And then what happened was they upgraded the vessel they were working on. And so I was then asked to come with them to the bigger vessel as the head chef and employ a sous chef. So I was like, yes. I didn't have to try and find one actively. I got to stick with the owners that I knew. So yeah, that was worth investing my time.
So when was that? How long ago did you get promoted to head chef?
That would have been 2021, 2020, 2020, 2021. I think I was 27 when it happened.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's amazing. I mean, look, I've seen your food. I've seen what you post online. Yeah, you're very talented, and like some of your dishes are really spot on. Um,
Thank you. I have a lot of fun with it. You know what? I'm also really realistic. I think as chefs, are always really hard on myself. I see what other chefs are doing. I'm like, I am nowhere near that level. I can't do, the super refined fine dining stuff. But the thing is the clients that I work for don't necessarily want that, and I cook the food the way they want. So it's a win-win situation for both of
yeah,
us.
yeah. And are you doing charter? You're on loan now, right? You're the head chef on loan. So are you guys mostly charter, or you're also private?
We do both. We do both. When this last season that we did in the Med, actually last year, was insanely busy. I've never had a season like that. It was very quick, very long charters as well. Everyone seemed to be at least like 10 days, if not 3 weeks. And it just kind of like kept going. Um, so Loon is a heavy charter yacht. I think that is changing a little bit coming up this next year. I mean, I know we've already got 4 weeks of charter booked, so
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But yeah, charter yachts, but also the people that Loon aim for is families, typically American, if not British, because that's what they're best at providing. That's the type of boat that they like. So, without stereotyping, I can kind of read those guests pretty well.
yeah. I was gonna say, how do you aim for this kind of family? But I guess depends on how the boat is designed, how many cabins, what are the toys.
There's the toys. It's also, we have a fantastic charter broker, Heather at IYC, and I think when you become an established charter yacht, you can be a bit more picky with your guests.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes
So
sense.
yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a good repertoire of guests that have already chartered Loon from years ago that are then upgrading. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So do you prefer doing charter trips or private?
I love them both, to be honest. We have a
Yeah.
fantastic owner on Loon, and I love working for the family. So sometimes I prefer the family because I know what they like, and they don't bring any surprises. They're very interactive and fun. I think we all love being treated like a real person. We don't like being treated like the help.
No one does. I don't think anyone does.
No, unless you get a weird kink, no judgment
Yeah.
there. But I think that's why I love working for the clientele that we get on this boat. Is that typically everyone's very friendly. I've had a few which aren't so friendly, but so
Yeah. And so, what kind of charter chef are you? Because I've heard I haven't done a lot of charter jobs myself. I was mostly private, not by choice, just because that's the job that I found at the time, and it worked. It has its challenges as well. When you work many years for the same family, it's like keeping them happy is a challenge on its own.
I would say it's
But
almost harder sometimes. You got to reinvent stuff. Yeah.
with still the same limitation, so they don't want to change, but they want something new, and you're like, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. No, that must be a tough job for sure.
No, but as a charter chef, then my question was: do you have like a 7 to 10 days menu, and you press repeat when the new guests are coming, or because I know you must have some dishes that like this is a banger. This works. This
100%.
everyone loves it. This is I
100%.
can master this, so it's gonna come back every trip because it's different family, different guests.
Yeah.
But what about the rest of the week? Like, do you have like a structure menu and you just adjust a little bit, or?
To be honest, no, I don't do that too much. I definitely have a few hero dishes that I'll go through and pop out, and the girls will do a matching table setting for that. The other thing that we do a lot of on Loon is barbecue meals.
Yeah.
So we'll get the barbecue out and do a full spread with the tomahawks and stuff. That's another one. It's a lot of guest interaction, guest heavy, trying to get me in front
Yeah.
of the guests, like the pizza lunches or like a pizza making class. That's another one that we'll pull out where, oh, you guys want to toss some dough? Or they get to pick up, make their own toppings and everything like that. So it's even something simple like there's as much guest interaction as possible. When we do a Mexican, like a taco spread for lunch, I'll go out and make guacamole at the table in front of them. My poor sous chefs back in the galley, like, we have to plan in advance for that one. But it's things like that. But also, like, the rest of the week, I really try and pull off their preferences as much as possible.
Yeah.
Some of these guests, they don't want to be challenged with the things they eat. They want comfort, they want happiness, they want recognizable food. It can get a bit boring sometimes if you've got particularly strict dietary requirements. We had some very strict ones in December, um, very oriented, but
How strict are we talking about?
gluten-free, dairy-free,
So
no
vegan,
pork.
vegan, gluten free.
No, not vegan, but they would only eat like certain proteins that were very lean, only certain cuts, only beef fillet. No seed oils, so I had to use all avocado oil, coconut oil, only extra virgin olive oil for dressing. It was just like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it was very much uh, at the start of the charter, call me out and be like, "Do you understand our requirements?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yes." Because sometimes people are on holidays and they're like, we can relax a bit, woohoo.
Yeah.
No.
Not those.
I like
Not
got on
these
the
guys.
phone to their house chef. I was like, okay, these people are for real. Yeah.
So out of 10 charters, how many are difficult? Are
3.
they all a little bit? 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
And what about the other 7? How are they? Are they just like do whatever you want, make your magic? Like,
I would say out of the other 10, only 3 more are like that, and the other 4 the in between.
okay.
I've had some amazing charter guests. You know what I love? I love first time charter guests.
They're so grateful.
You just blow their mind. And you know what I don't like I like the least is seasoned charter guests who have been on other boats. That's a really hard one. That's
It's
really
a little bit like the new crew that comes on a boat and it says like, on my last boat we did this.
You are so right. That is exactly what it's like, Chris.
Nobody likes that.
Mm.
Even if it comes from a good place, a good intention, but
So on
it's
Slipstream, they had this slide that went all the way, like, yeah, we don't have that, but we have got a big climbing frame. You know, you're just trying to, yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, they can be picky. They pay a lot of money, right?
exactly. They pay a lot of money, and we will just, try and flip it and have something else fun. And be like, yeah, but they didn't have me as their chef, did they?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like because I'm just super interested in charters. Um, do you feel like the most difficult are the one that tip the most, or is it no really like you can't really tell until the end that it's like are they gonna tip
Yeah,
well or not?
unfortunately not. We had some really, really difficult Saudi charter guests actually. This is quite a while ago. Quite a while. I'm talking about like over a year ago. And since then, we have not had any more Saudi charter guests. But there was literally only two of them, and they were the
Yeah,
hardest guests that we've ever had. And I was like a 6% tip or maybe 4% tip. It was
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's
Because I mean, tipping as a charter chef, it's a big part of your
sure.
expectation, and you just you know you deliver. I mean, you focus a lot more on trying to impress them and trying to
Yeah,
deliver the best.
yeah. You're doing the salt baked sea basses tableside. You're doing the smoky dough, all that kind of thing. It's the simple wow things, which
Yeah. Do you
ooh.
do a lot of tableside, show or
There's a few things that I go to, like I said, like guacamole is pretty basic, but at least you're out there. The Caesar salad's another good one. So making the dressing in front of them. My favorite one is making chocolate mousse tableside, like Heston Blumenthal.
yeah?
Yeah, so you're whisking it
Well,
over.
with the nitrox or with the liquid
Uh,
nitrogen.
just actually, this one's literally just chocolate and water, and you melt it together, and it sounds so wrong, and you whisk it over a bowl of ice,
Yeah, and it
and
works.
and it works. And you get the guests, two different pots. You serve one of them plain, one of them with salt, and you can just see them go through a bit of a journey, and it's really cool.
Yeah, but that sounds awesome because it's also, I mean, it ticks all the boxes. It's you have the show, you have something new,
Yeah.
you have it sounds healthy. There's
Yeah.
no fat, you can please anyone. It's like no matter your allergy or
Vegan, it's
restrictions,
gluten-free, it's
unless you,
dairy-free.
yeah, it works. It works. No, but that's so. Would you work on a bigger boat? Because loon is what? What? How big is loon?
67 meters, so it's 220
67.
feet. I have worked on an 80 meter.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, like, is if tomorrow someone comes and say, Nina, do you want to become head chef on this 120 or 130 meters, and you've got a galley of 4 people under you, and we're taking 24 guests, and there's like,
mm,
I don't know, 70 plus crew on the boat.
yeah. If the guests were the type of guests that I'm used to cooking for, I could handle that for sure. If the guests are wanting fine dining every single night, I don't have the background to deliver that. I would need a pretty insane team around me. But
Yeah.
in terms of handling logistics for that amount of people, the 80 meter that I worked on, because of the nature of it, it had 40 crew at times. I had four chefs that I was working with. It was a very big, it was a humanitarian vessel. And then we would also host more yacht style events on there. So lunches and canapé dinners, sometimes up to 90 people. So that was like getting my head around the more
Where was
large.
that? Where was that? That
That
doesn't
was
sound like a boat that would be in Monaco or at the
no,
Grand Prix or.
no, that was all Caribbean based. So its name is Dawn. It's a humanitarian and disaster response vessel.
Okay.
Yeah. So I joined when it was still in the shipyard. Basically, the concept is that this vessel is going to be in the Caribbean during the
The
summer,
hurricane season.
the hurricane season.
Yeah.
And if there is a hurricane or a tsunami or even just a really bad storm, they will go to the island and act as a platform for other NGOs, non-government organizations, to come on and be off. They've got like a huge water making capacity, a small hospital on board, got insane amount of storage. They've got really incredible comms, helicopter platform, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Who's behind that?
There's a non-government organization called GSD, which is Global Support and Development. It's run by a very, very, very wealthy philanthropist
Okay.
who has basically seen a gap for this
Yeah.
and created Dawn, which was really cool.
Sounds like there's a boat that was doing this a lot. There's a few boats that do this and that come and help out.
Yeah.
But I think Dragonfly at the time was around
Let's just say,
Fiji.
yeah, there's a link there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good because it's good to have those big boats and big toys and have fun with it and go on holiday. But if we both knows that a lot of boats are spending the majority of their life on a dock, not
Yeah.
being used.
Yeah.
Like we're talking 60% of the time, if not
It's
more.
crazy, isn't it? How much time, like, yeah, to be.
So if
I
you
mean,
can do
you're
good,
gonna be hella rich.
yeah, but if you can do good as well at the same time, and just send your boat where is the most needed,
Mhm.
that's amazing if you do that.
Yeah, it is. It is impressive. It is impressive, and I think maybe if I was in a different stage of my career, I would have stayed on there for longer. I think I did a year in there total, but I just really missed yachting.
Yeah. So do
Yeah,
you enjoy cooking now? The level to which you're cooking at and serving
I
charter
definitely
guests?
I want to get better.
Yeah.
I did a stage at Frog by Adam Hanley in London. It's a one Michelin star,
Yeah.
and I was just looking at this. I'm going like, damn, like it's not the stuff they're doing is hard. It just hasn't crossed my mind before. I'm not used to cooking that kind of way, so I think I just need to immerse myself in those kind of environments a bit more. And
But it's tough because even though you have internet and you have cookbooks and you have everything you want, there's unlimited amount of knowledge online.
mm,
But working as a chef on your own, and even if you're not on your own, if you have your sous chef,
yeah,
you're still kind of leading the galley and you're leading the ideas and the menus. You even if you're creative, you still need to expose yourself to other stuff. And unfortunately, cookbooks are great. It's just not the same. It's not the same as going to a restaurant doing an internship for a week or two
yeah.
with chefs that have been doing this menu for a week, for a while, and can teach you and tell you, other ideas. That's
It's like they're handing you kind of their years of experience and regarding this what has built up to this like one element of one dish, and they're like, oh, this works this way really well, and all you have to be is like, thanks. you know
yeah. Have you done many stages, many internship?
a couple. I've done where have I staged? At Frog. I've done one in Tasmania at a place called the Agrarian Kitchen. It just won Gourmet Traveler's Best Restaurant of Australia
Hmm.
2024. I was so happy for them. I spent quite a while there.
What kind of food is this? Because I saw that on the form you wrote this name and I never heard of it.
Never heard
What
of
does
it.
they do?
It's all farm to table, and I know farm to table is a cliche right now, but it is
I like it.
insanely just
I
farm to
like
table.
it. I
The
mean, if it's
garden,
amazing food, yeah.
the chefs go pick their own beetroots and flour. Like everything is right there. They have full time gardeners. They have a farm off site where they grow their own pigs. Everything is from Tasmania, and it just blew my mind. They're making their own butter. Like they, if there was, if you wanted to make a dish that has soy sauce in it, you would have to make the soy sauce.
Okay, it's a good
Yeah.
approach.
So they've got make all their old
So they're
vinegar.
not making. So they're not using soy sauce.
They have a soy sauce being made. Like they're making one.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, all the vinegars they're making like bread, all the miso, like they're making bread miso or coffee
Yeah.
miso. All the charcuterie they rub and cure themselves. They make all their own cheeses, hard alpine cheeses, soft cheeses. It's like if you
Yeah.
work
It's more. It's
there,
more. It's more than a restaurant. It's a whole
yeah,
ecosystem.
yeah. If you work there, you learn everything. And even in my, short time now, it's just like I want more of this because it's so
What
interesting.
about what about what they're actually cooking on the plate in terms of techniques, in terms of dishes? Is it as impressive as everything they make themselves, or do they keep it like super simple? So the idea is to
Yeah, exactly. The idea is keep it quite simple. There's still some really cool things in there, but the idea is to let the produce speak for itself and their technique speak for itself. You know, there's a lot of focus on crudités and the meats they've cured and the cheese they've cured. They make their own. They make burratas to order.
what?
I learned how to make burrata. Like
Yeah,
literally, you're stretching the mozzarella, filling it with stracciatella, doing the knot, tying it, plop on the plate. It's insane. It was so cool.
awesome.
Um, but yeah, because they change their menu every single weekend, everything, I think there's a lot of it's just great. It's just really my type of cooking. When you look at it, you know what it is.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, but it makes sense. It makes sense. And changing the menu, it makes total sense because they're cooking with whatever's in season, and
Yeah.
the season are changing. So
And we don't
yeah,
get that on a yacht so much, you know?
we
We
get the opposite.
Yeah.
We get the opposite. We get everything all the time, anywhere in the world,
Mm,
and it's good and bad.
yeah.
It's I mean, if we're not even talking about environment, because obviously flying all this stuff around the world and on these big boats is it's not the best way to go
Yeah.
forward. But the simple fact that you work for people that want mangoes from Costa Rica and they want strawberries or raspberries all year round, doesn't matter if it's you're in the Caribbean or you're in the Baltics, or yeah, it's the opposite. It's the
Yeah,
opposite of farm to table, I guess.
it is
It's
the opposite of lunch table.
it's farm to helicopter to table. I don't know if
Yeah, yeah,
that's
private jet to super yacht. I don't know.
but it's
Hydroponic
a
tunnel to
yeah. Yeah, I spoke to someone actually that was thinking about, or that was working on looking at this hydroponic, how to bring this on board super yacht.
I
How
actually
to
see that
have,
happen as well.
yeah, how
Mm,
to have like a room where you can at least grow
yeah,
your, micro herbs or your berries or your fresh
yeah,
herbs, because why not? I mean, why not? There is the technology is there. It's not hard.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
just have to have the room.
give me an extra crew member to do it, and sure. I was just like,
Yes, that
buddy, I don't think you
you
realize how
can be cruise chef
short-staffed
slash
that space.
gardener.
How cute! How cute would that job role be?
It might be. I don't know. We have to see. I don't know if it's gonna work.
That would be quite adorable, though. Could you imagine? You're hired as like the KP and the gardener. I think that'd be quite cute.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it takes off.
Mm.
So Nina, what's the any restaurant you want to really try to get a stage at?
There is a restaurant in Manchester called Onda. They're not rated, they're not on any things or anything, but they went viral on Instagram for having the tiramisu drawer. I don't know if you saw it. It's like
No.
literally a drawer. They pull it out and it's a full gastro. It's like a one gastro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of tiramisu, and they just scoop it and plop it on the plate. But they do fantastic pasta, filled pasta, any type of pasta, and beautiful pizzettes. Like I just want to go there and learn that kind of thing. I'm a
Yeah.
real carb girl. I love
So is it
carbs.
an Italian restaurant? I suppose.
Um, I wouldn't say they would call themselves an Italian restaurant. I
Yeah.
think they just cook what they like to cook. Yeah,
Yeah. Fair enough.
yeah. I don't know. It's a bit risky calling yourself an Italian restaurant sometimes. Those Italians, they're pretty sticklers for things.
Yeah. It's also sometimes it's a show thing, because if you run a restaurant, then it's an Italian. You'll be busy. People love Italian food.
True. That is true. I mean, I think these guys are busy anyway because the whole Instagram thing. But yeah, yeah. That was cool. Then, and also another place I'd like to go stage at would be Fellow or Row in London.
Yeah.
I follow
What does it
the
do?
just cool stuff. Cool stuff. I actually really like their pastry chef. He he was really cute. I posted on Instagram that I was at Row eating at Row and Fellow, and he was like, "Oh, are you here? I follow you on YouTube." And I was like, "No freaking way! I'm eating your dessert!" Like, and he came out and said hi, which was really cute. Yeah.
Does that happen often
Yeah, it does
to
actually.
get recognized?
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. I'm in my hometown right now. Well, not hometown. I live in the UK.
Yeah.
Um, and I was walking down the main street, and this girl runs up to me. She's like, "Oh, you're that chef on YouTube!" Like freaking out. And I was just like, "I am here of all places. I've been recognized in like an airport, hotel, in a strip club. I've been recognized in a supermarket in Spain. The weirdest one was, like when people make sand sculptures.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, there was a sand sculptor, and I went into like the sand sculpting dome. This was in Jersey, which is a small island south of England,
Yeah.
the Channel Islands. And I went in there, I was like, "Oh, these sculptures are beautiful." And we're speaking to the sculptor, and he's like, "Oh, I know you. I follow you on YouTube. Yeah. So it's really
Awesome.
random. So yeah, it does happen. It does.
Yeah. So what's your audience on YouTube? Do you know? Do you have an idea more or less? Is
Yeah.
it more chefs? Is it more female chefs? Is it more what?
Oh, that's completely yeah, no.
Is it random?
None of that. It is 90% male.
Okay.
This is YouTube. I would
Yeah.
say 70% of most of YouTube is men watching YouTube.
Yeah.
It is the demographic is I think it's like 35 to 55 is my largest demographic, men. And I don't know what they do, but they love videos about yachts and food.
Did
It's
you
just
did
like
you
part of being
you
a
said
female on YouTube.
you
That's
said videos about yachts and food. Did you make videos just about yacht and some just about food to see if you get more views?
hey, that's a really good idea, Chris.
Because
I
that's
might
how
have
you're
done
gonna
that.
get what your audience wants.
You
Or
know
maybe they
what?
just want both.
People do like both. If
Yeah.
yeah, I think I did one video about something and they were like, where was the food? Yeah. Yeah.
So stick
They do.
to food on yachts.
Food on yachts. Yeah, it's a really hard one because I have to be employed to make YouTube videos.
Yeah, but somehow you might also be employed because you're making YouTube videos.
Yeah, but I need a yacht to make the videos.
Yeah, and that goes back to one of my questions as well. Is like, I mean, you're on Loon, so Loon is using social media and videos quite a lot for their promotion, I suppose, to sell charters.
Mhm.
What if tomorrow you get a job and they don't want you to film?
On the humanitarian vessel, I
Mhm.
was not allowed to do anything. No, not even like a post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
so
the work or about the vessel?
anything.
Okay.
Like anything related to the vessel. Even if I just made a cute dish and wanted to post a photo of it, I couldn't. So that was also why I wanted to leave the boat because I really missed it. But at the same time, I did it. You know, life goes on without YouTube. Life goes on without Instagram.
Yeah.
Would I do it again? Yeah, if I had to. I'm going to be, potentially in the next couple of years looking for another vessel to work on with my husband. So it is
Yeah.
something. Not all yachts are as chill. So,
Yeah. But I mean, you don't know. You might grow, your audience by doing just food and not showing the
yeah,
boat, or
yeah. I might be able to segue into some at-home cooking. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. Have you been contacted for a book deal yet, or for a cooking show, or
No, I did interview very briefly for a National Geographic cooking show.
okay?
I was in Alaska at the time on a yacht, and the internet connection was so bad that we couldn't even have like a proper interview. So I'm gonna blame the internet connection for me not getting that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would that be that? Would that be? Do you think it would have been like an actual charter, and you go there, and it's like part scenery, part food, part life on the boat, or is it like, was it below deck Alaska?
I don't know. It was literally you can pitch whatever you want. It was crazy. They were like, "We're just looking for a host." You
Yeah,
know, pitches a video idea. Um, I had guests on, so I just don't think I pitched a particularly strong one. I just
yeah,
said food on boats, and we'll sail down the coast of Australia and cook cool stuff. On a
yeah.
sailing boat, but might be fun to still do. I
Ah, you
just
never know.
never know.
You never know.
Yeah,
Let's go back to charter guests. So, do you enjoy talking to the guests at the table?
I do. Yeah, I will try and come out with dessert and announce the dessert for them, just to sort of say hi and ask them how their meal was. Um, this gets really hard when you're cooking in front of the guests, like when you're running a barbecue or you're making pizzas and they want to have a conversation and you're just kind of like,
I can't focus.
yeah, I can't focus. Usually I'm pretty good at multitasking, but when you're doing a barbecue, and sometimes we have guest and crew eating together for barbecues, like the guests will be like, oh, hey, have the crew have dinner with us. We'll have a big barbecue. So I'm cooking a lot of food, and I've got two barbecues going. So Yeah, then it can. I think they get my vibe sometimes when I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something I wasn't the best at.
Mm.
I was very focused on cooking as well, and I knew a lot about food, but
But not a lot
interacting
about
with people, like
it.
it's look, if they had legit questions about food, I can talk about it for hours.
Yeah.
But it was just a small talk that was just
Yeah.
the toughest I felt.
Yeah, it is. It really is. If there's common ground, then you
Yeah,
can kind of natter away about anything.
yeah,
But yeah, no one likes an awkward silence when
no,
you're trying to impress someone. You're just like,
it's just like I can hear the timer. I gotta go. I'll be back.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, sorry, just my timer went off on my watch. You know.
Yeah. And do you keep in touch with some of the guests?
I do actually. Yeah, I did hear from one recently, which was really nice. They were checking in, seeing how I was doing. So yeah, I do actually. We had some charter guests came on board where one of the daughters followed me on YouTube before she even knew
Oh,
that they were chartering Loon. So her
okay.
dad
Do you
told her,
think
when
that do you think that made that help the decision from the
well,
parents?
I think her dad had already chosen it, and then she's like,
Ah,
and when my dad told me, I was like, oh my god, I know the chef. So that was really cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you think you'll open your own restaurant one day?
Definitely not a restaurant, potentially a cafe.
Yeah.
Like, I love breakfast. I love cooking breakfast. It's my favorite thing to do. I also love the hours. So you get up early, you finish early. Um, so I think if there ever was to be a food related enterprise, it would either be, yeah, a breakfast cafe or potentially a bakery. I just, like I said, I love bread. I love
Yeah.
carbs. Yeah. Yeah.
Bakery. Yeah. I suppose a cafe is also, yeah, you're right. It's a little bit more relaxed as well.
Yeah.
Are you hard on yourself when you cook? Like are you super strict with what you try to put out, or
It depends on the guests, and it depends on what mood I'm in, depends on how the sous chef's doing. I don't know. It depends on so many things. Because sometimes, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting question.
no? Because I know, look, you work on a boat that charters for a bit of money,
Mm,
so people have expectations, and like you said, you have people that have never been on a boat, people that have been on many boats, so it puts a lot of pressure on the chef.
it does. It does put a lot of pressure on the chef. I think it's really good to maintain like a bit of pressure on yourself. I think some people take it too far and they get way too stressed. And I've seen it with previous head chefs where it's just
Yeah.
like they let it get to them. I think one really good thing that I've learned, I think it probably was in like the last 2 years where I've just been like, nobody's gonna die if dinner is like 5 minutes late, you know?
Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard.
Oh yeah. You know, I wouldn't describe myself as chill. I'm definitely not a chill person. And my sous chefs can probably attest to that because I'm a little bit anal. Um, but when it comes to other people coming into the galley stressed at me, I'm very good at being like, don't worry, we're on this. We'll get it done. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's a stressful industry. It's a stressful job
Yeah.
to be
You
a
know,
chef.
actually, I was speaking to, do you know Brennan, Olive Oil and Gasoline?
I'm trying to have him on the show. It's
Goldie?
been 10
Yeah,
times. He's actually texted me. Let me see my phone. I haven't answered yet because we were on a call. But
yeah.
he said something. Let me just check what he said.
Okay.
Um, Along the way of, can we reschedule?
Oh,
I
classic
don't know.
Brennan.
Let me just see if you can see his name.
Yep. Chef Brennan. You know
Chef
what?
Brennan. I say, hey, Chris, I don't have the best Wi-Fi because he's just traveling around Australia all the
Yeah, he's
time.
in
There
Tasmania
is
right
apparently
now.
Australia is a great country, but there's no internet. What's going
No,
on there?
he's in Tasmania right now, and that's where the agrarian is. You know what?
Okay.
I've got him saved in my phone as Brennan the Knob.
I don't know him that well, so I'll wait until we record an episode and I'll update.
Then you can tell him he's Brennan the Knob. Anyway, what Brennan said to me was like he was sick of the stress of the job. And I
Yeah.
was kind of like, what are you on about? You know, the stress is what you give it. Like, I don't get too stressed or too nervous. He's like, no, Nina, the stress of like when you get a big provision and you have to put it away, And I was
Yeah.
like,
And you have to take care of it. Look, it's not just putting it
yeah,
away. It's making sure what you've ordered reach your fridge without being crushed by the crew that carries the bag and crush everything in. It's a long story, but
I
yeah,
don't understand how
stacking a car full bag is an art.
it is an art. And also, like, yeah, I have had, it even gets worse than that. I've had a sous chef put a truffle in the freezer
Hmm.
and caviar in the dry store
Ooh, nice.
on the same trip. So I was like, great, my two big ticket items gone. Yeah, it
I
is
feel like
stressful.
the truffle, you can still use it in something. It's not gonna be the best, but
It was so spongy. Like, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I
you know, of course.
put it in a sauce.
But the caviar is, yeah. And
Good
I
luck.
suppose you found out about it like a day or few days later.
It was too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had gone. I think I actually tried it. I popped it and tried it. I was like,
I mean, it's cured. It's cured. You might have a chance there, but I think the humidity level of it is too high that it doesn't keep.
yeah. I don't think it tasted too bad, but I was like, I'm not going to serve it just in case.
You
Like,
don't want to risk it. No, no,
no.
no, no. I think you're right there.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Nina, talk to me about Heston Blumenthal.
Oh, I love Heston Blumenthal.
Why?
Why? Because he's so cute. He's like this little nerdy chef with the glasses, and he's just a genius, and he's passionate about it. He has this series. I'm trying to think of it where it's like how to cook the best something, like how
Under
to cook the
pressure.
best steak, how to
Is
cook
it
the
called
best.
Under Pressure?
I'm gonna Google it right now.
It's what does he make the chips? Does he make the best roast chicken? Does he make the
Is it called
yeah,
Under
it's an
Pressure?
old I think so. It's like from the 80s. It's almost in black and white.
No, no, no. It wasn't. It wasn't that. It's not that old. It's not that old.
But he had one. He had a TV show from the 80s that is like super bad quality now when you look at it. And
Okay.
it was like that. He was just like breaking down some he was also doing this bird in a bird in a bird in a bird. Have you seen this one?
Oh my God, no, I haven't seen that one.
It's like you take a turkey. It's like an old
Oh, what's a
like
Durkin?
yeah, it's like he's putting like 12 birds within a bird,
Oh
starting
my
from the bigger to the it goes smaller, smaller,
yeah,
smaller.
yeah.
It's yeah, it was interesting because obviously they had to remove all the bones and
Ooh. Look, it used to fascinate me as a kid. We would watch like, when we were in primary school, we had like the DVDs, which was Heston's Fantastic Feasts.
that's
And
the one. That's the one of the show. Yeah,
is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And you just kind of like, because you just can't fathom it as a kid.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
No, I
just,
mean it's fascinating. I mean everything he's done is, it's the same. If I'm not wrong, it's the same time as El Bulli and what these guys were doing with all this molecular gastronomy
yes,
and
yeah, yeah.
these
But
new
because he was
techniques.
making it fun, I was
Yeah,
interested. Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely better TV than maybe watching a
Yeah.
recipe cooked at the El Bulli.
Yeah. And him like shouting at a chef or something.
Yeah, and also, I mean, and also, like you said, like if it's using the technique and the science to make the best chips,
Yes.
that's great.
I loved it. I
It's
loved
not
it.
to make a foam of chips on top of a powder of chips,
Exactly.
which
Exactly. You
is
get me. You get me.
there was a
It's
time for this, but it's done now.
it
We
might come
don't
back.
maybe need this.
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be the opposite. It's gonna be,
More of a
you know,
trend back to basics.
back
Yeah.
to like rustic and yeah. And I felt like on boats at the end when I was working, like a lot of the dishes, a lot of the recipe, a lot of the thing that people were asking was actually like true, real food, like what your grandma would cook or what you would have at home on a Sunday. Or
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. For sure. We have like, I mean, then you have like the certain boats where they do like Mikhail on Go, how he does those
yeah,
fantastic dishes. But
it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, and it's beautiful on photos
he
as
was
well.
saying like the boss doesn't eat like that every day.
Yeah,
Obviously, he'll have
yeah,
his regular foods. He'll have a Taco Tuesday, and
yeah,
then when the boss has guests on, then it's like, let's go, boys.
yeah. Yeah, this is incredible. This is incredible, actually. I should try to have him on the show. I was thinking about him like a couple of days ago because my old sous chef went to work with him for I think for a year or two. So
Oh, cool.
there's a connection there.
Yeah, yeah.
Rob from Australia as well.
Yes. Yep. Good old Rob.
So I'll try. I'll try. Tell me, McDonald's, what's going on there?
I love McDonald's. I don't know what it is. I think this is again a childhood thing. I used to like go down to the beach where I grew up in this small town, Ailey Beach. Go down to the beach, we'd swim in the lagoon, and then you'd be hungry, and the only thing you could afford would be a cheeseburger. So go get a $2 cheeseburger, and I just love it. I just like the consistency. I think they've nailed it.
Oh yeah, they have. They
Yeah.
have. They definitely have. I mean, this is maybe one of the only thing they've nailed is the consistency.
Yeah,
And
I know, right? Yeah, I
but at the same time, to be honest, it's such an addictive product. Like it's I don't know why, if it's the salt or the sugar or the fat or all of them that they put in, but it is super addictive.
yeah, it is. Like they've like a Big Mac, you know, there are way better burgers out there than a Big
There
Mac.
is, but somehow it doesn't
But somehow, like
work the same.
you know the Big
It
Mac.
doesn't trick your brain
It is what it
as
is.
well.
You know what you're getting. I think that's maybe what people like because they know what they're going to get. For people who have maybe a fear of new stuff, it can be quite comforting for them. So for me, it's a bit of a if I'm a bit hungover, I always get one Big Mac and a cheeseburger. That's it. No fries. Don't fry. Their fries are shit. Excuse my French. So I always just get two burgers. That's me done.
What if one of your YouTube follower sees you at McDonald's?
Oh, hey, I'm just a regular person. I don't. I started cooking in a Nando's. Okay.
Yeah. No, but that's amazing. So, any place you want to go to eat at? Any restaurant that you like?
I
That's
have
your dream
just
to try one day.
yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple there.
There's a couple. I
Because
have
just sorry to interrupt, but a place you want to work at is one thing. A place you want to eat at, I feel like it's a different list.
yeah, it is a different list for sure. For sure, because there's places where I'll go eat where I don't have any interest in cooking like that, but I want to eat like that. I want to
Yeah.
experience it. I've just finished reading Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Giandi. I can't remember his last name. So he was the person who basically brought 11 Madison Park up to its 3 stars.
Is it the guy from the TV show, from the documentary? Because there's a documentary about them opening the restaurant, and I think he might be the guy.
He's the general manager.
Yeah, it's him. It's him.
Yeah, incredible book. And instead of actually me wanting me to go there, instead of actually making me want to go there to eat food, it made me want to go there to experience the hospitality.
Yeah.
And it actually kind of made me realize I was like, you know, that's what I love as a chef. And I think this ties into the whole psyche of being a chef, or one part of it really is that you want to feed people, you want to make people happy. Like I'm a huge feeder. Like I love it, and I want to see people trying new things and enjoying and eating and nourishing them. And that whole aspect of hospitality where they want to see people comfortable and relaxed and they want to treat them and spoil them and just I was like, ooh, vibe.
Yeah. No, you take care of people. That's
but the
what you
stuff
do.
they do was so cool. It was so cool.
What's the second one?
The second one, I really like it. Eat at like A Wong's in London, and I'd love to go back to Frog. At the end of my stage at Frog, they treated me to a dinner there.
Yeah,
which was so cool. I got to do the full thing, and they had a new sommelier starting, so I actually got to sit with the som, and we had the whole wine pairing as well. So he ran me through all the wines as I was eating the food, and it was just a fantastic experience. And I'd love to take my husband's family there.
Yeah.
Because it's like the food is English. It's not too confronting. It's not too weird or different, but it's just done really well and it's really tasty. So,
yeah.
One restaurant I won't go back to is Enigma. I've done it twice and I'm a bit enigmaed out.
I tried. I'm with you on that one.
What year
I'm
did
sure
you
they
go?
10 years ago, 9 years ago,
Oh, okay.
8 years ago, like just after they opened, I think. Well, maybe the second year they opened. I thought it was. Look, I'm sure there's a ton of work that goes into every dishes, but I thought that it was too much of something. I don't know why, and not enough of a restaurant experience.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like it was some dishes that I was like, I don't know what this is, and you tell me it's this, and I'm like, yeah, but okay, why? And it looks pretty small on the plate. I don't know. I was because Nina, I actually interviewed on my last job. I
Mhm.
was so the captain was trying to find a way to find a new head chef, and he thought, oh, what if I ask a top chef to do the interview, the cooking interview? So long
Okay.
story short, I went to Barcelona and I cooked for Albert Adria. So,
Mhm.
super, I was stressed and I was like, worry and stuff. And so anyway, long story short, I ate at Tickets at the time, which was one of his
Yes.
restaurants.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
went to the other, like Nino Viejo, and he's had like a 4 or 5. I did all of them.
Yeah.
I ate at all of them, they were all amazing. Honestly, all amazing. But Enigma was not open at that time. I think he opened the year after because there was always delay. There was like a year or 2 years of delay.
I see. I
And
see.
then I eventually went there. So I had super high expectation because I thought it was going to be like, better than the other 5 or 6 restaurants that he has.
Mm.
And it was, yeah, it felt very disappointing.
Yeah. I can.
Just because I feel like I didn't recognize what I was eating and it was too much, and again, I respect their work and I don't want to say anything bad because they're working hard, I know, every day
Mm.
and they're trying. But from the waiter's outfit, that was a bit of a, like, I don't know, like cosmonaut stuff, like spaceship stuff,
It was like a
to
weird.
the style
Was
of
that?
the restaurant, to the dishes that was served. It
Mm.
was certainly different. I could see there was a lot of work, but I didn't enjoy, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I do recognize what you're saying. I think that it was quite confronting for me eating some of the food because I they gave one of the first courses was like this a little wooden board with a completely like shelled prawn head on it, and you just ate the whole prawn head
Yeah.
raw, and I just bit and the brain burst, and for me I was like, that's
But
just
that's a very Spanish experience. Like this in Spain, there's places where they have like super nice, high quality prawns, and they love to eat their head. And
and then
it's
they just
yeah,
the thing was is like the brains didn't stop there because then
yeah,
like 2 stations on it was then like rabbit brain, and then
yeah.
the
You have
next
like the duck tongue or something. There was like one
and then
dish was
2 more dishes. It was like this is a lobster brain. And I was like, guys,
stop with the
get it off
brain.
brains. Like, I like food that tastes good. Just some for me.
Yeah.
Um, so that was that was interesting.
No, but I mean, look, they're still going, and I'm sure they've changed some of the dishes. They've added some stuff, and
Yeah,
I mean, they at least they're different. They're
yeah.
different. So it's. I went to actually Disfrutar, which is also in Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
That is now 3 stars, I think,
Mhm.
best in the world, and that was that was amazing. Like there was a lot of technique, but it was also a lot of good food, a lot of good flavors, and I think I preferred Disfrutar
Just for a
rather than
I'll have to go to that. I'm going to Barcelona in 10 days' time. Actually, oh my gosh, that's so soon.
yeah
For a pastry course.
at
Uh,
El Mon Dolce de Claudia.
yes.
Okay, I should get her on the pod as well.
Yeah, yeah, you should. Look at this. I've been on. You've got like 3 different guests that you can get.
Amazing, amazing. I'm taking notes.
So yeah, I'm gonna head there. So maybe I should tie in a dinner or two out.
Yeah, but it's gonna be tough because I mean, some of this restaurant it's like a year and a half waiting list. So,
Look, I'll go
but
to
I mean, Barcelona
I'll
is
go.
full of restaurants.
I'll go
There's so
anywhere.
many restaurants. There is so many restaurants.
So many restaurants and there's so many good ones. I
Yeah,
love succulent. Succulent was amazing. Brett and I went to succulent actually.
yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't tried this one.
that was
I mean,
after
this.
we'd done the entire cocktail at Two Schmucks, like as in the entire cocktail menu at Two Schmucks.
How many cocktails was that?
I'd say that was
5.
probably about 5 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty sloshed. Yeah.
So Nina, couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. If you're not a chef, if you are now a chef, what do you think you would do?
Oof. Before I met Chris, my husband Chris, not you Chris, when I was a deckhand on boats, I was determined. Like I was doing my officers courses, I was going to be a captain.
Okay.
Yeah. In hindsight, I don't think that was the right path for me because I'm a very creative person.
hmm
I love my video editing and my cooking and stuff. I love teaching, so maybe
Yeah.
some sort of like teacher
Yeah.
or
There could be
instructor.
something there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm just tired. and I just want to like just go be a mom and be more tired.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're not gonna be less tired. This is
No,
not
but
what's gonna happen.
at least you don't have to think about work. It's just like kids. It's fun. I know it's harder.
I don't know if that's easier. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
easier. It's a different kind
I'm
of
gonna level.
worry and
I'm gonna level with you here. A lot of my friends, kids are so hard. Kids are all this, and then I speak to my friends who have been in yachting,
yeah.
and now they're mums, and they're like, yeah, they're just like yacht guests. They're tiny, they're demanding, they cry a lot, but at least you love these ones. So,
Yeah,
look,
it's true.
I think being a yachty, you get a bit of a head start because you used to used to all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Tiny guests.
Hmm. When I
At
say I'm
least you know what
tired,
they're like.
maybe I'm just tired of like the hustle a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. What's how many more years do you think you have in the industry? Or do you want to do? Do you want to do many
Two or
more?
three.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if I go back to it after kids, or keep doing it when I've got kids, because I've got my husband. He can stay at home, look after them, go on rotation, go cook. I never know how I'm going to feel, but it's really nice to know that as a chef, the option's always going to be there for me. I don't think women age out of the industry so much in the chef role as they do stewardessing. Because, as soon as you hit 40, 45, whatever, as a female in yachting, as a stewardess, you're going to get the captains who are like, she's an old hag. We don't want her. Like, it's a sexist industry.
Yeah.
I think as a chef, you can kind of skirt around that a bit because you're not so guest facing. So you
Yeah.
don't have that whole like ticking clock over your head of being too old. So that's fun to know. But maybe I won't want to go back to that. Maybe I want to have my little cafe on the beach.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
The
So
thing is,
you
it's a hard industry to leave. Like the
Mhm.
pay is good, the time off is good. You're in this little golden, when people liken it to a cage, you're in like a golden bird cage, and instead of newspaper on the bottom, you've got like British Vogue is on the bottom. You got it good. So
Yeah.
it's hard to leave.
No, it's true. It's true. And you have to prepare. You have to prepare because no, look, it's not hard to leave. It's easy to leave, but it's hard to stay away from it after you left.
That
Because
is,
it's easy to leave for 6 months and say, "Oh, I've got 6 months,
yeah.
rent or 6 months salary saved up, or I've got like a year bonus or whatever."
Mm.
Then you go away, you go traveling for 2-3 months, you sit at home for a couple of months, you just think of what you can do, yeah, and then you're like,
Yeah.
what can I do now? And then you look around and you realize, hang on, the salaries are very low here, and I
Yeah.
have to pay for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
How am I gonna make this work?
yeah.
And of course, we used to in the yachting industry as crew. We also used to we work very hard, but we also used to a super high level of comfort.
Yeah.
you
You're
know,
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. It's a reality check.
yeah, no, it is. So anyone that is working on yachts, please just think of your exit before you need to exit. That's the guess I want. That's the advice I want to give to everyone that wants to listen.
I always
Is
get a bit of I always get a bit of a chuckle when I think of like a deckhand or an officer like leaving yachting, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna leave yachting, be fine," and then they go and they're like, "Ah, shit! I gotta cook for myself. I gotta do my own
yeah,
laundry. I gotta clean my own kitchen." Like,
yeah. No, but for anyone, doesn't matter. Even for a chef, I mean, a chef, okay, you always think, oh, you can go to a restaurant, but going to a restaurant after working on yacht, it's very hard
I bet.
because you earn nothing and you have to answer to the owner of the
Yeah,
restaurant or the head chef. You're not the head chef. It's
yeah,
it's you're not doing whatever you want every day, and if you do, it's because it's your restaurant, and then you soon realize, okay, I have to cut the cost. I have to make sure I have customers. I have to stay open. I have to find stuff. It's tough.
yeah,
It's tough. So you got to think about it before you leave.
yeah. 100%, 100%.
But hey, you got your cafe. That's gonna be where in Australia.
Definitely, that would definitely be Australia. Yeah, the brekkie culture is very strong in Australia. Very
Yeah,
strong. Yeah.
breaky as in brunch, lunch.
It's funny if I go for brunch back home in Australia with my friends, it's at like 8 or 9 a.m. Like everything's very early in Australia.
Yeah,
It's not uncommon to go for coffee at 7 a.m. with your friends. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Up
That's
north, at
good.
least.
That means you don't have to stay open until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no way. 1 o'clock p.m. Done.
Awesome. Sounds like a dream.
Mm.
All right, Nina, thank you so much for this time.
Thanks, Chris.
I didn't know you well. Now I feel like I know you a little bit better. What's anything you're working on at the moment, or anything you want to promote? Or I obviously gonna put your links and all your social media on
Thank
a
you.
show note.
Well, I mean, hey, if they've made watching it this far to me rub it on, I have worked on a sous vide cookery course with My Muy Bueno.
Yeah,
So it's a course that they can do online. I put a lot of work into it about basically all the kind of basic recipes and my own tips and tricks for
yeah,
if you were to either become a private chef or get into yachting as a cruise chef or even a sole chef on a smaller boat. You
yeah,
kind of do those things as well. So that's on the My Muy Bueno website. And in terms of working on other stuff, yeah, I need a project. I need another project. So we'll see what happens this year.
yeah. Let's see. Let's keep in touch.
Let's keep in touch.
Thanks, Nina.
Thank you, Chris.
Ciao. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Happy days.
Yeah.